Hello BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. Today is Saturday, September the 29th, 2018, and it's about 7 o'clock at night, so it's a little bit of a late start to the vlog, but you know, I've been kind of busy all day, so that's okay. Now I get to sit down and chat with you guys. So it's starting to get dark out. I do have the blinds open. I do like having them open when I'm home by myself. My husband, God love him, could live in a cave and he'd be totally happy. I like sunlight. I like, you know, even at night when it gets dark outside, I like having the blinds open. I don't know why. Just a thing, I guess. So yeah, so I have a couple things I want to talk to you guys about. So I thought I'd wait until I had like everything together and then sit down and chat with you guys. Nothing terribly interesting today. I slept in a little bit, not by much. I slept until like 8 o'clock this morning. And then I sat and I edited all of last week's vlog. I hadn't done any of it during the week. I want to try and get into the habit of like at least editing these little clips at least every other day or something like that, just so it's not so much of a big edit together at the end. But that was okay. But I did notice how very little reading content I actually had for a vlog that ended up being over an hour long. So I do apologize, you guys. I'm hoping more reading content this week. I'm hoping things are going to slowly start getting back to normal at work, and you know, I won't be as tired and stuff like that, so I'll have more time to do some reading. I mean, not necessarily at the office, but at home at night, instead of just sitting and vegging on the couch with a knitting project, to actually sit and read a book. So before I get into what I've been reading today, I want to start off with the Harlequin Anticipated Reads video that I posted a week or so ago. I always ask you guys to please pick a book for me to read the month it's published. I did slack in September. I have not gotten to that book yet. I do have it. It's sitting right over here beside me on the couch. I got maybe 15 pages into it and I just haven't picked it up. I got sick and then work's been crazy. So like I said, I've been too tired at night to read. I know that sounds weird to some people, like reading's very relaxing, and it is very, very relaxing, but you know, I don't know what it is. I guess I haven't been in the mood. You know, not that I'm disliking any of the books I'm reading. I'm enjoying them. But yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. It is what it is. You know, I finished 4 books last week. That is in no way bad at all. That's amazing to some people. So, but anyway, so I haven't finished that book yet, but I do plan on starting it like either this weekend or something like that, like getting back into it this weekend and reading it, and then I can start the next one. So for those of you who might want to be reading along with me, the book that was chosen, I think almost every person except for 2 people picked this book, and some of you picked multiple books, and I really, really love that. And if you want to continue doing that, please do. Don't feel like you only have to pick one. You know, I had one person who picked like 6 of them, and that's absolutely, you know, do it. Absolutely. You know, we all have more than one book, and it's just like one book that we think sounds interesting. You know, to just pick one sometimes is difficult. So, you know, feel free to post more than one. But anyway, the one that was chosen, and I wrote it down, is Cinderella's New York Christmas by Scarlett Wilson. So we're going to read a Christmas book, you guys, if you guys are going to read along with me in October. So yeah, so please do pick it up either on ebook or print book or however you want to do it. I'm going to Walmart tomorrow to go grocery shopping with the hubby, so I will probably try and pick it up there. If not, I will grab it off the Harlequin website. So yeah, so that's that. So the next thing, I wanted to do that right off the bat so I wouldn't forget. I do have, and I mentioned this in my last vlog, now that vlog is still uploading. When I pressed the upload button to let it like do its thing, it was over 2 hours to upload, and that was like an hour and a half ago. So it's still, as I'm talking to you guys right now, it's still uploading. But I did mention in that one about, you know, sharing my like weekly book haul at the beginning of each of these vlogs. So that's what I'm going to do. But I want to show you guys my knitting first. If you watched my last vlog, you saw the sweater. I'm sorry. I should have brought it in for anybody who's new. You'll see it again, I'm sure. It is my Seclude sweater. I finished that this week. I'm super, super pleased. I wore it to work on Friday. I got a lot of compliments on it. I always get the, you made that? And I had mentioned outside, I was talking to somebody and I said, yeah, I finished it last night. Like on Thursday night, I had finished it, and I said this on Friday. They're like, you finished it in a night? I said, no, I didn't start and finish it in a night. I just finished it last night. So I'm super pleased to get that off the needles. There is another sweater in the queue to be knit. I have the yarn and stuff. Like I have this little carrier thing that I keep my knitting projects in. Everything's all ready to go. I've got the pattern printed out. I've got the yarn sitting there. I've got the needles ready to go. But I wanted a quick project. I wanted something to start and finish because the next sweater I'm doing is going to be a lot more involved than the one I just did. It's got cabling in it. It's got this really interesting construction to it. You know, it's going to be a really, really fun, bit more challenging, which is always nice. You know, like it's fun to it's fun to have those quick little go-to projects, but it's also fun to kind of challenge yourself too, right? So I will be doing that next. But as for now, I did cast this on last night in this adorable, can we talk how cute this bag is? I love flamingos. I don't know why. I think flamingos are adorable. So yeah, so it's my little flamingo bag. This is meant to be a sock bag. It's just a tiny little bag I bought. I don't remember where I got this from. I think it might have been Nomadic Yarns on Etsy, but I started a hat last night. So I've got the brim. I'm starting it. It looks tiny. It is going to be for me. It will stretch. Don't you worry. Because even I was working on it this morning. I'm like, that looks kind of small. I do have a smaller head. I am doing the adult size small. This pattern goes up from toddler all the way up to large adult size. So yeah, so I'm doing the ribbing around the brim, like the brim part of it, so you can see the yarn. It's really speckly. This is not the yarn I was going to use for this. I mentioned it in my last vlog, but I'll mention it again just in case. I was going to use a gray with rainbow stripes in it, and it was called Unicorn Poop, but I loved it because it was also sparkly. But the way it was dyed, it's more meant for socks because it's a smaller circumference. Like this, with the circumference being as wide as it is, you get these odd striping, so you get like pools of color, and I just wasn't liking the way it was looking. That'll be fantastic on socks because it will probably unintentionally stripe on socks, and you'll get like these stripes of color with the gray. So I think it'll look fantastic on a pair of socks. So that'll be down the line. But this is by a company called, I always like to shout out the yarn dyers if I possibly can. These guys are also on Etsy. Etsy is the go-to if you are looking for, excuse me, I have the hiccups. I'm drinking pop because I had Taco Bell for dinner. I very rarely have pop, maybe once a week, and I enjoy it when I do. It's by a company called Tilting Planet. Yeah, so like I was saying, if you are looking for indie dyed yarn, check out Etsy. Oh my god, I buy so much of my yarn from Etsy, it's not even funny. But yes, it's called Tilting Planet. I just love, love, love their band that goes around their yarn. So this is the colorway. I'll show you the whole ball of yarn. There it is. Isn't it pretty? It's called Cosmic Cake. I just love it. I think it's adorable. And this is their Apollo base. And guys, it is so soft and squishy. I need to get more of this to knit socks because it would just, or a shawl. It's so soft against the skin. Oh my gosh. It's a 75% superwash merino and a 25% nylon. And you get 437 yards for 100 grams. So that's really, really good. So yeah, so I absolutely love this. So that is the hat that I am doing. Oh, the hat is called Barley Light. Then this is by Tin Can Knits. There is a barley pattern in their simple collection, which is like their beginner knitter patterns, excuse me. And the barley hat is fantastic. I've knit it 4 or 5 times as Christmas gifts because it's such a quick knit. And you would use a thicker yarn. You would use more of a medium weight yarn. This is using sock yarn, which is why it's called the Barley Light. So it's you know, a thinner material. And I'm actually doing the brim, like this ribbing part. You're only supposed to go for 1.5 inches. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. You're only supposed to go for about 1.5 inches, but I'm going to do 2 inches because I like a good thick, I want it to cover my ears. I live in Canada. In February, it can go down to -40. I want to keep, not only are hats fashionable for me, but they are practical. You kind of need them so you don't freeze to death. So yeah, I'm doing that. And then I'm actually going to, it gives you the option to like just make it like beanie style, like just so it would just like sit to the, I'm actually going to make mine floppy. I like the look of a floppy hat. I don't know why. And then when I'm at Rhinebeck, when I'm at the festival in 3 weeks or so, what I kind of want to look for is a fake fur pom-pom, like a pink one, to go with. I think that would look awesome. So yeah, so that's why I'm working on that. That should be done by next week. Hats take no time for me, thank goodness. The other one is my sock that I've been working on. This is the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern by Erica Luter. It's another free pattern on Ravelry. And it doesn't look like I got a lot done, but I kind of did. So there's the little witch stitch marker. That's where I was the last time I talked to you guys. And I put the heel in on Thursday, Friday. So yeah, so the foot is done. So now I'm just working up the leg, and this is on the first sock. The yarn that I am using is from a company called, believe they're on Etsy too. I think so. Spun Right Round. I don't know if they're still dyeing yarn or not. This is their superwash sock. It's an 80-20, so an 80% merino, 20% nylon. 400 yards for 100 grams, so it's a little bit of a thicker yarn than the last one I was just talking about. And it is called, the colorway, let me get the yarn ball out itself. It's called Combat Boots and Baby Doll Dresses. And I will admit, I bought it because I like the color, but I bought it for the name too. So yeah, so that's the socks that I'm currently working on. And those are my at lunch work project. So that's it for the knitting. I appreciate you guys indulging me and letting me talk about this. It's funny, I'm totally blanking on her name. I'm so sorry. The Wandering Reader. It'll come to me. I do apologize, dear. I had a nap. I'm a little tired. She actually posted a video on her YouTube channel, or on her booktube channel, showing what she's knitting, what she's crocheting. The blanket is gorgeous. Oh, I want to learn to crochet just to do something like that. And what she's cross-stitching, and I actually cross-stitch myself. I haven't picked it up in forever. But I had such the urge to sit back down and do a podcast, because I used to do a weekly or bi-weekly podcast, The Canadian Knitter. All the videos are still up on YouTube, but I haven't been on there since May. I just haven't really... The podcasting world has changed for knitting podcasts. I find now, and this isn't everybody, I mean, a lot of podcasters are not like this, but I find it's very commercial now. Look at the yarn I bought, look at this that I bought. I feel the same way sometimes about BookTube, like with these big book hauls and stuff like that. Again, I buy a lot of books too, I'm not saying that. But, you know, the thing is, I find with some, like with the knitting podcast, it's like, oh, look, I bought this yarn, and then you never see it again. Or so-and-so sent me this yarn, but then you never see it again. And it's like, you know, very high, you know, like, it's you know, to harken back to what Steve Donahue said not that long ago, and he said this in several of his videos, I much prefer this, where it's like two friends sitting down having a chat about either yarn or books or what have you. You know, I don't have any fancy lighting. I just got the light over here, you know. It's exactly how it would be if I went out and sat out for, like, with a coffee with you. You know, I do edit these videos together, but I don't edit them a lot. I put pictures in, you know, stuff like that. But I find like some of the knitting podcasts are just becoming a bit much. And I kind of stepped away from doing them. And I just feel like I can't keep up with them anymore. Like, I can't be on the level that some of the viewers are really looking for. So that's why I really appreciate you guys, that you let me sit down here and do this and talk about yarn and what I'm knitting, because we're not just readers, not all of us anyway. You know, we have other hobbies, and I love the fact that a lot of booktubers are now talking about those other hobbies, and I think it's fantastic. So anyway, all that being said, let's talk about a book haul. I treated myself on Friday. I went on my my huge wish list that I have on the Kindle, like on Amazon, all ebooks, and I I kind of sorted them all, and I looked at them, and I typed in just so that I would find ones that had price drops, and some of these had some really big price drops. Like, I won't necessarily buy it just because it's got a price drop, but I like to kind of look and see, and if there's something that I want on my wish list that's dropped. There's cases where it drops like 80%, and I'm like, yes, I must buy it. So that's what I've been doing. So I bought 7 books. I read a lot, though, guys. Here I am trying to justify it after I just said I don't like watching people do big book hauls. And it's not that I don't like watching people do big book hauls. I love seeing it. I love seeing everything that everybody buys. And I think the thing is, with a lot of the people that I watch, they haul a bunch of books, but they read a lot of books. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's fantastic. So yeah, so the first book I actually paid full price for. It is an anthology, a Christmas anthology. I saw this come up on Instagram, and I pre-ordered it, and it came out on Tuesday, and it's called Santa's on His Way, and this is by Lisa Jackson, Maisie Yates, Stacey Fintz, and Nicole Helm. 3 of those authors I adore. Stacey Fintz I'm not familiar with, but I'm very excited to read it. I love anthologies, and I love Christmas anthologies, so I'm very, very much looking forward to reading this one. I think this one is definitely going to have to go on my my December TBR. And then the next ones are all ones that I bought. Like I said, I kind of just sorted my my Amazon wish list for with price dropped, and I found these ones. So the first one, and I don't know a lot about all of these, I do apologize. I just kind of went, ooh, it's $1.99, click. Um, I like to support the authors. The first one is Charmingly Yours by Liz Talley. This is book number 1 in the Morning Glory series. This looks like it's just a contemporary romance series. It is the first in the series, and I looked at it on Goodreads. It's got some pretty good ratings, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. The next one, oh my gosh, guys, this one dropped 80%. I think it was either $1.99 or $2.99. So if you want to go pick it up, it might, because by the time you guys see this, it may not be on sale anymore. It might have only been for the day. I didn't go back and look, but it wasn't on a Kindle Daily Deal or anything. And this is Between You and Me by Susan Wiggs. I got this obviously on ebook, and it is an Amish suspense type novel is what it sounds like. It sounds so good, and it's Susan Wiggs. I mean, she's just an amazing author, and when I saw that this dropped so heavily in price, because I think it was like $13, and it dropped down to like $1.99 or $2.99, I'm like, I have to get it. So yes, I'm super pleased with that one. The next one just looked like a really cute one. I've kind of got this whole series on my wish list, but this one dropped in price, and it's Boots and Bedlam by Ashley Farley. Book number 3 in the Sweeney Sisters series. So another contemporary romance sisters, I guess, about a family of sisters. This one's obviously a Christmas one. You might be able to tell from the cover. Looks super adorable, and yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The next one, What Do You... I'm going to get this wrong. What You Do to Me. What You Do to Me. That's what it is. By Barbara Longley. This is an author I'm not familiar with, but this one was on for 99 cents, and it's a contemporary romance. And I thought, why the heck not? Hot guy on the cover. I'll go for it. The next one. Oh, this one I picked up because, again, it went on sale. And it's funny because I just bought this book as a print book. I have this habit. I sort of just bought this book as a print book. Let me explain. So the book is called The Girl of His Dreams by Susan Mallory. And this is part of Harlequin's best-selling authors collection. So they released these books, and they're hugely thick. And they contain one of the author's older works. And then they always piggyback it with another book. So it's an anthology, so you're getting 2 in 1. And the other book is the one that I just bought as a print book, and that is Playing by the Greeks. I almost said geeks. Playing by the Geeks Rules. I need to write that book. You heard the title here first, folks. Playing by the Greeks Rules by Sarah Morgan. So now I have both of them. Kind of in one volume, which is kind of fantastic. And then the last one. This one came up, I don't remember, I think I was just looking around on Amazon. It's if you like this, you might like this. And this one came up, and it was on sale, and it's called The Summer Nanny by Holly Chamberlain. This is, I think, more a women's fiction / chick-lit type novel. And I read, it looks like it's about some friends who are, I think they're older. This is not a YA, I don't think. It wasn't labeled that on Goodreads anyway. And, excuse me, I've got the hiccups still. And it's about 3 friends, I guess, in their 20s who spend the summer being nannies for very well-to-do families in Maine. And it sounded really good, and it was on sale, and I thought, why not? So yeah. So those are the books that I bought this week, you guys. I'll probably continue to do this every week when I do my vlogs, and just tell you guys that. So I'm almost 20 minutes in. Let's talk about what I read today. So I have about 2 hours left on Undeniably Yours by Shannon Stacy. This is the second book in the Kowalski family series. I am really enjoying it. I do like this series. I don't like this one as much as the first. I think the first book I gave 5 stars to. I love the first book. This one, I actually find our main character, Beth, to be a little whiny. The whole premise of the story is that Beth and Kevin, now Kevin's the younger brother of the main character from the first book, he owns and runs a bar in New Hampshire and blah, 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 blah. And this woman comes into the bar the one night, and he kind of thinks she's hot, right? Well, she kind of brushes him off because this whole incident happens at the very beginning, where the guy that she was there with ends up getting arrested because he was being drunk and disorderly. So you got to read the book. I'm not going to give too much more than that away. But so they're not exactly on the, she's not his biggest fan. Let's put it that way. So then a week or so later, it's actually the wedding of the characters from the first book. And at the wedding, she happens to be the bartender there at the wedding. So after the wedding is over, they kind of end up meeting outside, and one thing leads to another, and they go back to his hotel room. And 2 weeks later, she finds him and tells him she's pregnant. They covered all the necessary precautions, but there is always a failure rate, and that's kind of what happened. So she spent her whole life kind of being smothered by her parents. Her mother had 4 miscarriages, like 2 before she was born and 2 after she was born. So she is like their miracle child in a way. And of course, her whole life she's been smothered. As soon as she was old enough to start going out by herself, like, where are you going? When are you coming back? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want you going here. I don't want you doing this. Like, very, very smothered. So she has spent her entire adult life now traveling from place to place. When she starts to feel too tied down and too smothered by people around her, she packs up her single suitcase and she hops on a bus and she leaves. Well, now she's kind of, in a way, stuck because she's pregnant and the dad is, Kevin, the father, is there. And she's being enveloped by this whole family. And, I just think that a lot of it, like, people are trying to help her. And I think she's just probably ingrained so much in her head from being smothered as a child by her parents', affections and making sure nothing happens to her, that she doesn't know how to take all this. And, she's getting mad at him because she doesn't have a cell phone. Like, she washed hers in her jeans. He buys her a cell phone just because he wants her to be safe. And she pretty much screams at him. So I have a few issues with Beth. We'll see how this plays out, but she's kind of driving me just a little bonkers. But there is a secondary story to this one, and it's about this woman named Polly who works at the bar, who comes from a very well-to-do family, but 5 years ago she ran out on her wedding to this other the son of a very rich, well-to-do family. So they were kind of like almost like a family alliance kind of thing with the two of them getting married. She didn't want to live that life. She didn't want to be a lady who lunched. She didn't want to be part of the country club set. She wanted to kind of do her own thing, so she legally changed her name, and she moved to New Hampshire from Boston, and she works in the bar. And then this guy, the guy she was supposed to marry, comes into the bar, and the two of them are kind of, seeing where things are going to go. So as I'm listening to it, there's a lot of focus on this secondary plot line, this B plot line, if you will. And I have to wonder if it's because the first plot line is, not that it's weak, but there isn't really a lot of interesting things happening. So then, the author introduced the second plot, but I really do like it. I actually kind of like the second plot a bit better than the first plot. Because I just think it's a little bit more interesting. Do you know what I mean? So I'm enjoying it. All in all, like, it's not a bad book. It's just that, the main character's kind of, bugging me a little bit. So like I said, I'm about 2 hours done with that one. I'll finish that one by tomorrow. It's the last book I need to listen to for, the last audiobook I need to finish for the month of September. And then my final ebook for the month of September is Wild on My Mind by Lauren Kerr. I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting. I'm enjoying this one. It's really, really fun. The two of them knew each other in high school. He was the very, very popular kid. She was the geek. And the old, ugly duckling to swan story. She goes to college. Her roommate teaches her how to use makeup, and she figures out what to do with her hair, and she becomes so unrecognizable that he has no idea who she is, even though supposedly he spent 4 years tormenting her in high school. I don't find that. I don't buy that. I'm sorry. Nobody changes that much unless they've had plastic surgery. That's just my opinion. Unless you never really looked at the person or paid attention to the person. So that's where I'm thinking this is going. But she is a graphic designer, and he owns this local zoo, and this whole series is based around the people who work at this zoo, I guess. This is the first book in the series, by the way, and this is a Nat Galley book. And the two of them are working together because she's kind of doing the graphic designs for their website and things like that. So it's a very hot and spicy book as well, but I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm about 60% of the way through it. Definitely I'll get it done tomorrow. And I actually did pick up tonight while I was eating my dinner. I thought I just wanted something, just quick and easy to read. So I picked back up the Nancy Drew book that I haven't picked up all week. And that is The Secret at Shadow Ranch by Carolyn Keene. Book number 5, I think, in the Nancy Drew series. And this one's been a lot of fun. I am really enjoying it. They're just a really fun read. So I've been reading that one today too. And like I said, I'm hoping, by the end of the weekend, maybe tomorrow, I'll pick it up. Tonight I'm just going to relax on the couch, knit on my hat, and watch some booktube. But I hope to pick up that print book from Harlequin, the one that I was supposed to read in September, but epic fail. So anyway, guys, 25-minute clip, big start to the vlog. I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Hi, guys. It is Sunday, September the 30th, and it's about 10 to 7 at night, and I thought I would come to you with a quick reading update and day update of what I'd done today. Today was semi-eventful. I went out with my mom this morning. We went to bingo, but first off, I took her over to the grocery store. So quick little backstory. Canadian Thanksgiving is next weekend, and this is the first major holiday we have had since my grandmother passed away. Grandma lived for the holidays and for cooking. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. She passed in May. The week after Mother's Day is when she passed away. So I was kind of wondering what was going to happen. Not that she was the one who, ran it all. I mean, she was 92. My mom and my aunt, my dad's sister, did a lot of helping. But Grandma always insisted on running the show. And it was in her kitchen and all these things and stuff like that. So, I was kind of curious as to what was going to happen. Was my mom going to host at her house, or, any of that? Garrett and I, the ones without children, are the ones that never have to worry about this. Just tell us where to be and we will be there for foodstuffs. It is one of the bonuses for not having children. Although my brother and sister-in-law never have to really host either because their apartment just isn't big enough. But anyway, side note, that was a side note. So I had to take my aunt is actually hosting. So it's going to be at the same, because my aunt and my grandmother live together, it's going to be at the same house, that we've always gone to. And there's not a lot of us. There's me and my husband, my parents, my brother and his wife, their 2 kids, my niece and nephew, and my aunt, my dad's sister, and then my uncle, my dad's brother. So that's pretty much going to be the whole gang as per usual. I don't know if my cousin's going to come up. He's living in Ottawa, so it's a good, I think, 4 or 5 hour drive for him each way. Maybe less, 4 hours I think each way. But he's done it. He's come out. But I don't know whether he's going to come out or not this year. So anyway, that's like I said, total side note. So I had to take my mom to the grocery store because the one thing that, like, my mom always said to Grandma, like, don't cook a big turkey. We don't need a big turkey. There's not a lot of us, but Grandma loved to cook a turkey. So my aunt said this year we're just doing turkey breasts. Like, you can just buy turkey breasts and a ham. So that's what we're having. But my mom has not been able to find turkey breasts. Like, anything that doesn't, like she said, it doesn't look like a ham. Those are the ones she doesn't want. She wants, like, I don't know. I don't cook meat, so I really don't know, to be honest. But she only found one grocery store that had what she was actually looking for. So they were sold out when she was there during the week with Dad grocery shopping. So she asked, when are you getting more in? And the guy's like, Sunday. She showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning today, and they were sold out except for one. Like, so the guy, he knows my mom because they're there all the time. So he told her that they were going to get some more in this afternoon, and that he would hold some for her. So she's going to go back and get those. So there'll be turkey and stuffing and ham and pie. My mom's buying pie. Grandma always made pie. So that's kind of a, it's interesting to see what changes and what traditions change and stuff like that. I think Grandma would be really super happy that we're all still getting together. That was her favorite part of it, is seeing everybody. But yeah, so that's next weekend. So that's super exciting. So we did that. Then we went to bingo. We didn't win anything, unfortunately. And then I came home, and then I went grocery shopping, by myself again. The hubby didn't want to come. Yay. I love him dearly, but it's so much easier to shop by myself. He just gives me a list of the things that he wants, because we don't actually eat dinner together. You guys, if you've been watching my vlogs, you know that I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm eating my dinner or whatever. Because my husband works till 11 o'clock at night, I'm not obviously going to wait for him to eat my dinner. So I eat when I get home, and then he eats when he gets home. So there's only 2 nights a week that we eat dinner together, and that's Sundays tonight and Mondays when he's home. So we kind of fend for ourselves outside of that, which is fine because he likes a big meal, and he also is so used to eating later. Whereas I'm happy with a bowl of cereal for dinner some nights, like, in all honesty. So anyway, did that. I just ate my dinner. He wasn't hungry yet. So we were having leftover spaghetti sauce. We make extra sauce, and then I put half of it in the freezer. So I had that for dinner, which was super yummy. I love spaghetti. It's like my favorite meal. So reading update, 5 minutes in. I finished 2 books today. The 30th of September, and I finished all the books on my, I finished all the books that I needed for my challenges. Let's be specific, because I did not sadly finish all the books on my September TBR, but that's totally cool. I looked at Goodreads to see where I was because I marked it down so when I do my month-end wrap-up, not this week coming, but the week after, because I've already filmed videos coming up next week, I'm 32 books ahead of schedule. So I'm doing okay, guys. Doing okay. So I finished my audiobook, which was Undeniably Yours by Shannon Stacy. This was narrated on audio by Lauren Fontgang, I think was her name. I talked about this book yesterday, so I'm not going to get into the whole thing about it again. I still feel the same way about it. The main character, she was a little prickly, I guess is one way to put it, you know, like just, oh, I'm not sure about the baby, or not sure about the baby. She was very happy about the baby, but didn't like being smothered, as she called it, by Kevin. But then on the flip side, you know, they didn't know this girl. I mean, it was a one-night stand, let's be honest. And yet the family has completely embraced her as if, you know, she has been with the family for 30 years. And yes, I can see from her point of view how that would be a little off-putting. You know, I wouldn't want to feel that way either. I know they're all excited and I get that, but, you know, you don't know this woman, you know? I don't know. The whole situation just kind of bothered me a little bit. I really liked the secondary story with Polly and her ex. That one I really enjoyed a great deal, and that made the book, you know, a little bit better, but I still only gave it 3.5 stars. I adore Shannon Stacy. This just, it wasn't the story, it was the characters that kind of bugged me in this one. So, I also finished Wild on My Mind by Laurel Kerr. This was a NetGalley review, and I enjoyed this one a great deal. I gave it 4 stars. Really cute. Like I said yesterday, again, I'm going to try to, for me, it's weird because I've talked about the books like more than 24 hours ago, whereas you guys would have only seen me talk about them a few minutes ago. So, you know, if I talk about the same thing over again, I do apologize. But yeah, this one was I want to almost call it like an ugly duckling story, where, you know, an ugly duckling to a swan, where she wasn't, you know, the most popular girl in school and all these things, and, you know, he teased her. And, you know, and now, but this is the thing that kind of bothers me about this storyline, is that now all of a sudden she's quote unquote hot, and, you know, he's kind of all over that. You know, things are redeemed. That's not necessarily the way he's thinking, stuff like that, but that's always what my mind goes to and what I think about. So yeah, so, you know, but I enjoyed it. It was spicy. It was a good, you know, they knew each other, so it's like there was a basis of the relationship, sort of, even though, like, they were getting to know each other now as adults, which is a completely different ballgame, because I'm sorry, think about yourself now, guys. The person you were in high school to the person you are in your 20s or 30s is a completely different individual. So yeah, so I enjoyed it. Like I said, 4 stars. It is the first in a series, and the series is set around this Sagebush Flats Zoo, I think is the name of the zoo. Now, side note, I'm not a fan of zoos. I don't like the idea of keeping animals in captivity. I don't condone, like, I don't encourage them. We are spitting distance from the Toronto Zoo, which is a huge zoo. And, you know, it is what it is. You know, there's nothing, you always say there's nothing that I can do to make a change. You know, I cannot go, I can express my opinion that way, but I've been going since I was a kid, and, you know, I see both sides of it. I get the merits of a zoo, as long as they're kept humanely. That makes sense? You know, you see these horrible stories on the zoo, on the news about places in other countries. You know, I'm not naming names for anything, but, or even in America, like in North America, you see it too. It's not just like a problem in another country that we don't have to worry about. But these small zoos that maybe the animals are being treated badly, you know, those are the ones that you need to get rid of. You know, so anyway, that was a total side note. I just thought about that because, you know, like, I'm not a huge fan of zoos. I always see the animals and I always think, oh, you poor things, wouldn't you love to be, you know, running the tundra or something like that. But yeah, so anyway, so this whole, sorry, total side tangent today, is set around a zoo, this whole series. So I'm very, very much looking forward to the next book too. The writing was great. It was really spicy. The characters were fun. Yeah, I absolutely recommend this one if you like a good contemporary romance. So I've got 2 books that I'll be starting tomorrow. I'm not reading anything else tonight other than my Nancy Drew book. I'm going to continue reading a few chapters of that tonight. But tomorrow I will be starting Mistletoe in Texas by Carrie Lindell. This is another NetGalley book. It is book number 5 in the Texas Rodeo series I have not read before. I'm not exactly sure what this is about. I didn't really look. I'm just going to kind of go into it blind, so I'm really excited. And the audiobook I will be starting tomorrow, I'm really excited about, which is Earls Just Want to Have Fun. And it's by Shannon, I think, Shana, and it's Galen is her last name. It's very similar to my own last name, except my last name has a PH. So it is, it looks like it's going to be fun. I'm reading this one, I'm reading this one for the Pass the Parcel Challenge, for the Romance Readers Reading Group on Goodreads. And this week's challenge, they give you, again, some lists from Listopia. And the basis of the lists were like class differences in romance novels. And that is something that I kind of a trope, if you want to call it that. I don't know what else to call it. Everybody else calls them tropes. I don't know if that's really a thing. Is that the appropriate word? A trope of the class differences of her, or one of them being very wealthy and one of them not so much. So this one, the main character, I do believe she comes from a very well-to-do family, but she's a pickpocket. So it just sounds really interesting. And I saw it, and I actually had got a copy on the Kindle a while ago, and I was looking on Audible, and it's available as part of the Audible romance package. So bonus. So that's how I'm going to read it. So again, I'm not starting it till tomorrow, so I'll give you guys my thoughts on that one later. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to watch some booktube. I'm going to do some knitting, and I'm going to get myself kind of ready for work tomorrow. I'm trying to be very zen about work and not worry about it. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do to change what's happening. I just kind of have to roll with it. The one thing that's going to get me through is the fact that in the month of October, I don't work a full week of work. My coworker's like, how did you scam that? This week I'm off on Friday. I have to go downtown for an appointment. And I have to take my car into the shop to be looked at because I'm going on my trip in a few weeks. And since I'll be driving a fair distance, I want to make sure the car is all tickety-boo before I go. So I've got that. I'm going to drop the car off. My dad's actually going to take me down to my appointment because my dad is awesome. And then I'm going to come back and relax. I just didn't want to have to rush to the office and stuff like that. And I had one vacation day left to take this year that I hadn't already booked. So I thought, when else am I going to use it? Like in November or December? Like, I might as well just use it now for what I need it for. So I booked that off. Then, like I said at the beginning, Thanksgiving for us is on Monday, like a week tomorrow. So I'm off on Monday. So I have a 4-day weekend this weekend, you guys. Isn't that exciting? So I only work 4 days this week. I only work 4 days next week. The week after that is when I leave for my trip. So I go to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm off Thursday, Friday, the weekend, and then I'm off Monday and Tuesday. So I go back to work the following Wednesday. So that is 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks I only work 4 days, and the second 2 weeks I only work 3 days each week. Yes, I am super duper happy. So, if you think about it, that's 8 and 6 is 14 days, I guess, over 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, it's going to be fine. Like I said, I'm trying to be very zen about work now. I have been stressing myself out a great deal. I have not been sleeping well. I have been not myself. I'm not reading. I'm not, I just want to tune out, and I just have to roll with the punches this week. I have to keep telling myself that it is what it is. It's nothing that you did. You're not at fault. Sadly, customer service is always the ones who get crapped on, essentially. We're the ones who get the angry phone calls. I can't tell you the number of phone calls I took last week that the conversation started with, now I know this isn't your fault, but, and then proceeded to scream at me for 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm just going to deal with it. It is what it is. I'm going to get my overtime. I don't mind the overtime. And yeah. So anyway, guys, another long clip. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make these. I just like talking to you guys. Book stuff is in here. Reading will be done this week. A lot of reading will be done this week. I'm hoping I will be back to my normal reading amount this week. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, guys. Happy October 1st. Happy Halloween month. I am so excited. I'm going to keep this clip relatively short. The last two I know have been pretty long. I I uploaded them to my computer. I'm going to edit them later in the week, and I'm like, holy cow, they're long. It is 10 o'clock at night on Monday night, and I am exhausted. I was watching some booktube, and my eyes were just drooping. I'm like, I need to get to bed, but first I need to film a clip for you guys. So I'll just update you on what I have been reading today. So I actually got to get some reading done at work. We're still busy. I'm still super duper busy, but I've been able to take a couple breaks and, walk away for a bit, read for 10 or 15 minutes, and then go back to my desk. Other people go for a coffee break, so why can't I just sit back at my desk and read for 10 minutes and clear my head? So I am currently reading my ebook is Mistletoe in Texas by Carrie Lindell. This is the 5th book, and I think it's called the Texas Rodeo series. I have not read the previous 4 books, but I am in no way lost. Obviously you're meeting characters that appear in the previous books, but it's not like anything is, it's contemporary romance. It's not like you're giving away some massive secret. It's not like jumping into Harry Potter in the 6th book and being totally lost for everything else that happened. You know what I mean? So far I'm enjoying it. It is about a gentleman by the name of Hank, and he was I don't want to use the term prodigal son. He was a championship bull rider, essentially, or a rodeo. I'm not exactly sure what he did in the rodeo, but he was a champion. And then this scandal happened, and he ended up literally being kicked out of the rodeo. And he went to kind of, saying, pretty much thumbing his nose at everybody who kicked him out for, the reasons, and, then making an even bigger mess of things. And he's been gone from home for 3 years. But he was back in town, like I said, 3 years earlier, and he ended up having a weekend fling with his best friend Grace. And she's been in love with him since they were kids, and they've known each other since they were 10 years old. They grew up in the same small town in the Texas Panhandle, and then secrets are revealed. And so I'm about 20% of the way through this right now. I got quite a bit of reading. Well, I'm almost 20% of the way through it. I plan on reading, maybe another couple chapters before bed. Like I said, I am tired, but I do want to sit up and read a little bit more. This is a longer book. This is, I think, the longest ebook on my TBR this month. It's almost 500 pages. So it's a really long story, which I'm not complaining because I'm really enjoying it so far. And I'll let you guys know more tomorrow. So the current audiobook I am reading, talking about things that I'm loving, is Earls Just Want to Have Fun by, I'm going to say her name wrong. I want to say Shannon, but I don't think that's how it's pronounced. Shannon, maybe, and her last name's Galen. This is the first book in the Covent Garden Cubs series. So this one is really fun. It's not exactly quite what I thought it was going to be. I didn't really read the back of the book. I just read it was something about our female lead being a pickpocket. But the whole premise of the story is that our main character, who goes by the name Marlowe, her real name is Elizabeth. When she was 5 years old, she was abducted from a park by a man who then took her and pretty much trained her to be a thief. And she has absolutely no memory, I shouldn't say no memory. She has snippets of memory of her previous life. She came from a very, very well-to-do family, her parents were titled, essentially, and they have been looking for her all this time. It's been like 15 years or something like that since she went missing, or she was taken. And so our main character's name is escaping me right now. I do apologize, I can't remember his name, but he's an Earl, and his brother, I think it's his younger brother, he kind of has a knack for finding people, almost like a detective or something like that. And he found one boy who went missing for 15 years, and he was able to find him. So Marlowe's parents actually hired him to find her, and he did. And pretty much the beginning of the novel, she's found and she's brought back to their estate. And so anyway, she's very rough. Very rough around the edges. She's been raised as a thief her entire life. That this is all she ever knew. She only ever knew, not having enough food and always being cold and sharing a room with 4 other people, like all guys. She's the only girl in this like thief ring essentially. So anyway, they've got her at the house and they're kind of trying to turn her more into a lady. They were gonna just go ahead and contact the parents and say, hey, we think we found your daughter. We're not, like, they're not absolutely sure it's the right person. But she's starting to have flashbacks and memories of those first 5 years and of what happened to her. And I'm really, really enjoying it. It's being narrated on audio by Beverly A. Crick. She does a really great job on historical audiobooks, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. It's a really fun twist to the typical, Regency romance thing, the usual storylines. And this one I'm really enjoying. So I'm at 50, I'm over 50% of the way through it already. So I should definitely, hopefully get it done tomorrow. And I can let you guys know my final thoughts on it. But anyway, like I said, I'm keeping this clip short and sweet. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye. Hi guys, it is October the 2nd. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is actually my parents' 42nd wedding anniversary. They married, obviously, October 2nd, 1976. So yes, I think I have a picture. I think I have one of their wedding pictures saved on my computer. If so, I will post it here just for funsies, just so you guys can see. Yeah, my mom was like, she would have been what, 24 when they got married? And Dad would have been like 28, I think. Yeah, 28, because he was 30 when I was born. So yeah, so happy anniversary to them. So reading today, not a lot to update. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I do have a lot to update. I finished a book today. Today I finished reading Earls Just Want to Have Fun by Shannon Galen, I think is her last name. Because it's very similar to my last name. Kind of the same spelling, except mine has a PH and hers has a G. This was a really, really cute book. It was on audio. It was narrated by Beverly A. Crick, who did a brilliant job. She always does a great job for all of the books I listen to that she narrates. This one was fun. I really liked the fact that our main character, that it is the female character that was from the wrong side of the tracks, if you will. Typically you read these kind of Regency romances and it's the guy who's kind of maybe from the wrong side of the tracks, but it's kind of nice that it's the female. And, I think I talked about this one a bit yesterday, how she was taken as a small child and then she was kidnapped and was brought into this theft ring and, was taught to be a pickpocket and all these things. And she doesn't really remember her life before being taken. And then there is someone, his name is, I want to say his name is Brooke. He is our main character, Dane's brother. I couldn't remember his name yesterday, so I do apologize. He is Dane's brother, and Dane's our lead male. And he's a Bow Street runner, and he was tasked with trying to find this girl. And he found her, and they then kidnapped her, essentially, and, tried to reform her into being more of a lady. And, the people who they thought were her parents are on holiday in Scotland, and they are on their way home to come see her. So you don't actually see that part of the story until the very end, whether she is or is not actually their daughter. And, it was actually right up until the end, it was kind of kept a mystery whether she was an actual lady or whether she was just a person who fell in with a really bad crowd and who, had a very difficult childhood and, the things that she was told by this gang that her parents were, like, her mother was a prostitute and her father was this, and, whether that was the truth or whether this was the truth. And it was really interesting. I did get a little teary-eyed at the end, I have to admit. The relationship between Marlo, that's our lead female character, and Dane was really, really sweet. Dane was not the most likable character at the beginning. He had his flaws, and I appreciated that. He was very, very hard-headed, very set in his ways. But then again, so was Marlo in a way. This is the life that she knew, and she wasn't going to change for somebody else. So yeah, I really, really recommend it. This was my first novel by this author, but I will definitely be reading more. I will definitely be continuing on with the series. The series follows other people within this theft ring, I guess. Yeah, and there's 3 books in total in the series, so I'm very, very excited to continue on with it. I am now about, or I will be, soon. I'm going to do a little bit more reading when I'm done filming this. Reading, is it Mistletoe in Texas by Carrie Lindell? I'm enjoying it. I have to admit, and I think I said this yesterday, it's a 500-page long book. And I'm all for a good, long, chunky book. Although I'm at a point now where I'm finding there's a lot of extra information that really isn't needed. There was an entire chapter. Now, granted, there's a lot of chapters in this book. I think there's something like 40 chapters in the book. There was an entire chapter. Now, our main character, Grace, is a sports therapist. She works at a school. So she does this for high school kids. And there was an entire chapter devoted to the fact that this one student, while she's there. Now, in part of the chapter, she's talking with another character, so it's kind of advancing the story a little bit. But the bulk of the chapter was taken up by the fact that this random girl in the school tore her ACL ligament in her knee. I guess that's where that is. And she is not going to make it now onto the college basketball team that she was like kind of recruited for. Again, I just didn't think it was needed. An entire chapter devoted to this that didn't advance the plot at all. Does that make sense? Other than a one-page conversation, yeah, that Grace has with Hank's sister Melanie. Yeah, so I have a feeling this one's going to potentially drag on a bit, and I think that there's probably a lot in this story that doesn't need to be in the story, a lot that probably could have been cut, but, it is what it is. Again, I am enjoying it. It sounds like it's going to be a second chance romance. There's a mystery kind of not a mystery, but like a secret, which I already know what the secret is. You kind of already find out what it is. You find out relatively early. It's not like they come out and tell you, but if you've read enough of these kind of books, you kind of guess what it is. But yeah, I just feel that it might just end up being a little long and probably could have done with some editing. But I shall reserve judgment for when I am done it. And the other book that I'm currently reading, I did finally pick this one back up. I finally picked back up Deputy Defender by Cindy Myers. I had started reading this, about 3 weeks ago. I got maybe 10 pages in. So I picked it back up again today, and I want to get it done within a week or so. So I'm about 40 pages into it now. So there's my bookmark. I just started it this morning when I was having my coffee. And this is about a woman who runs the very small museum in the small town of Eagle Mountain in Colorado, which is where this series takes place. And she is in possession of a very valuable book that they are putting up for auction to try and raise money for the museum. And she has been receiving now death threats. Or not death threat. Well, yeah, she did receive a death threat that she needs to get rid of the book or else yada, yada, yada. So yeah, like I said, I'm only 40 pages in so far, but I'm really enjoying it. So anyway, guys, a short and sweet little update today. That's about it. I don't think I have anything else. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is Thursday. No, it's not Thursday. It's Wednesday, October the 3rd. It is about 9 o'clock at night, and as you can see, I just got out of the shower. I've been home since about 7 o'clock, and I have just kind of made dinner, done a few little things around the house, and yeah, I'm finally getting to sit down now at 9 o'clock at night. I have about an hour and a half before I have to go pick up my husband from work. Yeah, it's not Thursday. It's because I'm off on Friday, so my brain is immediately telling me that, today's Thursday, so that's why. So reading today, this probably isn't going to be a very long clip because I did get reading done, but I really don't have much to add. Well, for the one book, the first one that I want to tell you guys about, I started a new audiobook, and it is Close to You by Kristen Proby, narrated on audio by a guy whose name I can't remember, and I think her name is Ariel. So it's one of those ones where the chapters go back and forth between him and her, told from each of their perspectives. And it's okay. It's your classic kind of contemporary romance trope, cliche, whatever you want to call it, about a girl who has been in love with her best friend's older brother since they were kids, and then he went off and joined the military, so he's been gone for many years. He was a fighter pilot, and then he was given a honorable discharge. I guess he got injured and had to come home, and while he was gone, like over the years that he was gone, she got married, and the marriage didn't work out, and she got divorced. So now they're both kind of single and back in the same town. It takes place in Portland, Oregon, which to my understanding is a larger town. And because there's one scene of the book that kind of made me go, wait a minute, what? So they started getting friendly with each other, and the whole premise of the series, it's the book 2 in the Fusion series, is that our main character Cammy and her 4 best friends own this very kind of bar and, not, I don't want to call it a bar and grill. It's like a bar in a really nice restaurant. The kind of place you take dates and stuff like that. It's not like a family establishment or anything like that. So anyway, they're expanding into the space beside them because they're getting too big, and because he's got really nothing else to do. The brother, I think Landon is his name. He's like doing the construction, or heading the construction, because I guess he used to work for his dad's construction firm before he went off and joined the military and all these things. So, him and Cammy are now becoming friendly, and they've gone out on a date and stuff like that. Well, there's one scene where there was a storm, like a big bad thunderstorm, and she hears this noise in her house, and she like grabs the baseball bat and she like goes downstairs to see. He breaks into her house. Because he knew how scared she used to be of thunderstorms when they were kids, and wanted to make sure she was okay. It's called a phone. Like, at first she was a little like, you broke into my home, and then she thought it was cute. I'm like, no, that's not cute, that's illegal. It kind of just gave me pause. And then the scene before that, he broke in again, literally picked the lock to her house, and broke in to make her breakfast in the morning. Like, stalker much? Like, it just, I'm not, if the thing is that if she hadn't known him and like they had just met recently or something, she would totally call the police on him. But because they'd been friends since they were kids, I guess she thinks this is okay. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't, sorry if my hair is doing weird things. I don't get it. I'll see. Anyway, it's not a very long audiobook. It's only about 7 hours long. So I should finish it off tomorrow. I did get some reading done on it on lunch today, but I didn't tonight after work. Not after work, but like I've said before, that typically between 5 and 6, or however late I end up staying, which some days lately has been like 7 o'clock, I listen to my audiobook, because most everybody else leaves the office by 5. And, I can, if a phone call comes in, I can see it. But I don't have to be like, I can listen to my audiobook and it doesn't bother anybody, or it doesn't impede anything that I'm doing. So, I didn't get that today because I had people at my desk and stuff was going on. And then I actually got to leave just before 6 today, which is the first time I've gotten to do that in a while. So that was really nice. So that's the audiobook. The ebook, as I was saying a little bit earlier, I really don't have a lot more to say on it. It just seems like it's dragging on too long, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not disliking the book, because if I wasn't liking it, I would probably DNF it because of the fact that it's so long. And I mean, a lot of stuff's going on, so it's not like you're rehashing the same things over and over again. But there are a lot of characters, guys. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of characters. So it is the 5th book in a series. But I have read book 20 in a series. And, it just seems like every character from every book is suddenly making an appearance in this. And you're kind of given enough of who they are, but I'm still getting confused just because of the sheer amount of people. And yeah, so I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it. And it's a very slow story as well. I mean, like I've said before, it's 500 pages long. It's a slow book. And, I'm almost at 60%. And the male lead, Hank, has just found out, like, the big secret. And we're only at Thanksgiving, in a timeline. This book started, I believe, at the beginning of November and is supposed to go till Christmas, because it's a Christmas book. And we're only at Thanksgiving, so, that should tell you something. So not loving it, not hating it. I'm hoping to have it done by Friday, so we shall see. I read a bit more of this, Deputy Defender by Cindy Myers, this morning and last night. I'm going to read a little bit more now. That's my plan right now, is to sit here and relax and read. So I'll be reading a little bit of this, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit more on my e-reader of Mistletoe in Texas, or whatever that book is called. I've got my popcorn. I made a bowl of popcorn. Yum. I prefer my air popper, but it can be a bit of a pain to clean everything up. This is just easier. I had a bag of microwave popcorn in the cupboard, so I decided to go for it. On the weekends is usually when I treat myself to like real popcorn, in my opinion. The air popper, it's so good, and it's so much better for you too. And I've got my water, and yeah, so that's my plan. I'm going to read for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, And then I think I'm going to take like the last 45 minutes before I have to go pick up my husband and get a little bit of knitting done and watch some booktube because I didn't get to do either last night. I was like busy for most of the night. I was doing a lot of reading last night and stuff too. So anyway, guys, I will let you go and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is Thursday, October the 4th. It is about almost 9:30 at night. And yeah, I thought I'd sit down and have a little chat with you guys. Before I get started, I don't know if she watches this or not, but happy birthday, Tanya. My good friend Tanya, it's her birthday today, so that's always exciting. So yeah, it's been a day, and I'm glad it's over. And I am now on a 4-day long weekend. Bonus. I booked this day off, like I booked Friday off, just a week and a bit ago. I have an appointment downtown tomorrow. I have to go to the doctor's. I have to go have a stress test, which, if you've ever had a stress test, are not pleasant. They're actually my least favorite. I've had some pretty invasive, unpleasant tests before, but most of the time with those, even though they're unpleasant and perhaps even in some cases slightly painful, you don't actually have to do anything. And this one I have to walk on a treadmill. Forced exercise, people. I don't like it. But yeah, if you've never had a stress test or you don't know what one is, essentially what they do is they hook you up to a, it's not just walking on a treadmill. It's not like when they first told me years ago that I had to have one of these done, I'm like, I can walk on a treadmill. No. They put a blood pressure cuff on your arm. At least this is what I have done. Other people's might have something different, but this is obviously to test your cardiovascular workings. So your heart and your lungs. And so they hook you up to a blood pressure cuff. That goes off at intermittent times as you're walking on this treadmill. On top of that, you are hooked up to electrodes, no joke, on your head. Like there's one like in the center of your forehead. I have no idea what that measures. You have the ones on your chest, like as if you were having an ECG, like those little stickers with the wires attached to them. And then the worst part of it is that you have to breathe through a tube. So the whole time you're walking, you've got this like tube coming out of your mouth that you have to breathe through. And they pinch your nose close so you can't breathe through your nose. And I'm a nose breather. So it's not exactly what I do at the gym. And then the other thing is that you're not just walking. As you're walking, every minute or however long the intervals are, they up the speed and up the grade. So eventually you're like busting your butt and like uphill. So my best time, I used to always, like for the past, I guess almost 10 years now, I've had to do it on a bike, a stationary bike. It's the exact same thing, but you're doing it on a stationary bike. And I hate it. My knees are not very good anymore. Like I bend down to grab or put paper in the photocopier at work or something, and I can hear them crack. Like it's, yeah, age is starting to show, people. So my knees just can't handle the bike. They just can't handle that stationary bike. And I've been telling my cardiologist that for a couple years because she keeps saying to me, she's like, I know you can do better. Like, you know, they measure you by like how long you can go and stuff like that. And she's like, and I think at best I'm doing 10 minutes, which is still pretty good, you know? But she says like, I know you can do better. And I keep telling her, I'm like, it's my knees. My knees just can't handle the bike. So when she booked it for this year, because she wanted, I have to do it like every other year or every 18 months or so. She's like, okay, we don't have the treadmills at Toronto General Hospital. They're at Toronto Western, which is the sister hospital. They're all part of the University Health Network. So they're all like interconnected with is it St. Margaret's Hospital or is it Princess Margaret Hospital, which is the cancer hospital downtown. And I don't know if St. Mike's is part of it or not, St. Michael's. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I have to go to a different hospital to have this done. So the joke is, I was talking to my mom about it, I'm like, oh, I can check another hospital off on my hospital bingo card. Because I've pretty much been to every hospital downtown for something. I've never been to Princess Margaret. I've never had to go to St. Mike's. I've been there before because my mom was there after her stroke. They took really good care of her there. They are fantastic cardiac cardiatric. That's old people with cardiology issues. They're a great cardiology hospital, along with Toronto General is also fantastic, obviously, cardiology hospital. Toronto General is actually the first hospital in the world to install a pacemaker. Fun fact. And they are also the first to have an adult congenital cardiac clinic. So people ask why I don't move out of the city. That is the reason why. I keep myself within driving distance of my hospital, just in case. My husband and I have talked before about moving to Ottawa, potentially, or anything at all like that, but that is 5 hours away. And I could keep my cardiologist, and I'm sure Ottawa has some great hospitals, but this is my home hospital. This is where they know me. Anyway, side note. So I have to go downtown for this test tomorrow, but I also have to take my car into the shop because I'm leaving in 2 weeks. 2 weeks today, I will see Mandy. I will be in Vermont. I'm so excited. So I have to take my car in because I'm going on a long trip. So I'm getting the oil change done, the tires rotated. I'm also having them like check it over, making sure everything's okay. So I had called my dad and I had said originally I was going to book it for the 12th, which is next Friday. And I'm like, do you mind picking me up at the mechanics and driving me into work? Because I'd be without a vehicle. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And he goes, well, why don't you do it on the 5th? Like the Friday before. He goes, that way you're not rushing last minute in case they can't get you in or something happens. It's always better to give a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm like, well, yeah, I said I would, but I've got this appointment downtown. And he's like, well, my dad's retired. It's not like he's got a full schedule. And he's so sweet. He goes, well, listen, I'll drive you down, like if you want. I'm like, well, I'm going to be in there for the test probably should take like from start to finish, hooking you all up and doing all these things. It can take upwards of about 45 minutes. He's like, I don't care. He goes, I'll go park the truck somewhere. And he goes, he has a tablet and he's always playing those games on Facebook. He goes, I'll read a book or I'll play my games and then I'll pick you up. Because there's no parking at this hospital. That's the one complaint about Toronto Western, is that there's a parking lot out front. It fits maybe 15 cars. So if you're not there at 4 a.m., you're not getting a parking spot. There's a huge parking garage over to the side, but that's for employees only. So it's a bit of a pain to get to. But anyway, so I'm going to go to the dealership, or not the dealership, I'm taking it to the mechanics. I'm going to drop it off, leave it with them for the day. And then my dad will drive me downtown, and then I should be home by noon, which is kind of nice, but I thought about it, I'm like, well, I'm gonna get all this stuff done, and I still have a single vacation day to use this year. Like, I've booked all my vacation, like, I've got my time coming up, and I've booked other days throughout the year, but I still had one day left, and I'm like, well, when am I gonna take it? Like, November, December, like, I can pick a Friday and take a day off. But then I thought, well, why don't I just see if I can get this day off? And I asked my manager, and she's like, absolutely, you can have the day off. That's not a problem. So here we are on a 4-day weekend. And the reason it's 4-day weekend is because on Monday is Canadian Thanksgiving. So yay, me. I planned that pretty good, didn't I? So anyway, so that's exciting. Where was I going with all that? I was just telling you what I'm doing tomorrow. So the fun thing is that because I don't have to drive downtown tomorrow, I will obviously have my phone on me. I'm going to try and get some pictures from the car, like some video from the car of the downtown, in case some of you may not have seen downtown Toronto. I love it. It's my favorite city. Just because I know it so well. And it's my home. But yeah, so that's plans for tomorrow. So, it was a long day at work today. I actually got in late. Not late. My start time is actually 9:30, and that's what time I got in this morning, so I wasn't technically late. But for the past month since we've had all these system issues, I've been coming in at 8:30. But that's okay. And then I only took a partial lunch. Like, I sat at my desk and I ate my sandwich and whatever, and I read my book, and then I just kind of got back to work. So I only took half my normal lunch time, which is normally an hour. I took a half an hour, and then I ended up staying until 7 o'clock. And normally I'd be leaving at 6. So, I wanted to get everything cleaned up before I left because I didn't want anybody else to have to worry about anything that I'm doing, right? So that was my day today. So now I'm home. I'm relaxing. I'll go pick up my husband soon. And, the other exciting thing is that I got a notification. I got the Purolator slip on the front door this when I came home from work that the David's Tea order that I placed yesterday is ready to be picked up over at Purelator. So tomorrow there will be an unboxing of David's Tea, so that's exciting. I'm super excited about what I got. The Halloween collection came out. Excuse me, I've got a a frog in my throat. The Halloween collection came out, and I bought some tea. Like, actually, this year's collection, nothing really jumped out at me as being super cute. Sometimes every year I usually get a mug, but the mug really wasn't jumping out at me as being like super cute and something I had to have. If it ends up going on sale later, I might pick it up, but for right now, I'm just kind of leaving it. But I did get some more tea, and I got something else fun, but I'll show you guys tomorrow. So reading update. That's why you guys are here. I just like to chat. I am about. Oh no, wait. Let's start with what I finished. I finished Close to You by Kristen Proby. On audio, it was narrated by Roger somebody or another and Ariel something or other. Sorry, I can't remember the narrators' names, but it's one of the dual, like, almost, I don't want to say dual perspective. Would it be dual perspective? It's like one chapter was him, one chapter was her, but it was told in that, like, from each of their person, told from their personalities. I'm tired, guys. You know what I'm trying to say. The narration was okay. I didn't love his narration. I liked him for the character of Landon, but when he was talking in the girls' voices, it just didn't like it. She was really good. I liked her. She sounded very young though. So the premise of the story, I mentioned it yesterday, is that our main character Cammy has been in love with Landon since they were since they were kids, and now he's back, and it's one of those kind of romances. I didn't love this story, guys. 3.5 stars is what I ended up giving it at the end of the day. I found that he was extremely possessive and that she was really clingy, and I don't like either of those traits in romance. Like, for example, like I think I said yesterday, like, he kind of like broke into her house during a thunderstorm to make sure she was okay. Like, that was just a little weird. And then on her behalf, she has these 4 best friends. So there's the group of 5 girls, and that's what the series is based off of. It's book 2 in the Fusion series, that each girl has a different book. And so she's got these 5 very, very good girlfriends. They're her best friends. And every Sunday, I guess, they have a brunch together, and they all get together for brunch and discuss and talk, even though they all work together, but it's kind of like outside the work environment kind of idea. Well, she invites him along. Like, really? You can't go anywhere without him? I didn't know. No, I don't like that at all. I'm sorry. That's just, yeah, it was too clingy. She was just too, and then, this kind of incident happens towards the end, and it was actually really well done. This thing that happens, I don't want to give too much of the story away in case you want to read it. It wasn't a bad book. Like, I'm not saying it was bad. I just didn't love it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I will still continue on with the series. It's very hot and spicy. Keep that in mind too. And yeah, I got some more reading done. I actually finished, because I set myself a goal for how much my ebook I need to read every day, so I can get through all my ebooks every month. And I finished that on lunch. So it's not very much every day, but that's my goal. And I'm still reading Mistletoe in Texas by Carrie Lindell. I'm really not liking this one, you guys. No, wait, let me rephrase that. The story itself I'm liking. I like the premise. There is just far too much filler. This book could have done with some serious editing. There is so much they could have taken out. I mentioned a couple days ago there was an entire chapter devoted to some high school kid that she like coaches or something like that. And then there was another chapter I read at lunch that was devoted to the fact that some of these cows got out of the pen or whatever, and they're running all over the road and they had to catch them. If it advances the story, absolutely. If it doesn't advance the story or show you some behind the scenes of the character, it's just filler, and I don't think it's needed. Again, this ebook or this book is 500 pages long. It does not need to be that long. I'm sorry. You could have at this point cut out a good 200 pages. I'm finding that I'm at the point now where I'm almost like flipping through, like not speed reading it because I can't speed read, like, but not fully 100% reading it. I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, they're talking about, and there are so many characters, you guys. Oh my gosh. So I don't know. I'm gonna see. when I'm done this, I will finish it tomorrow. That's my goal. I'll, of course, give you guys my final thoughts on it. I am sticking with it. I have a hard time DNFing a book. It's not that I don't like it. It's just it's too much extra. That's not needed. And what else was I going to say? Oh, I can't remember now. It'll come back to me if I need to. Or I'll mention it tomorrow. It's not that big a deal. Oh yeah, that's it. I'm going to see if the other books in the series are the same length. I'll know the same thing was done, and I probably will not read any more in the series. I will try this author again, but I'm hoping that this is just for some reason. No joke, you guys. This book probably could have been told as a novella. Like, I'm not exaggerating. You know, the story itself, the amount of times, like, it's barely moving. It's like a snail story or something. Anyway, I'm ranting. The other book, I'm still reading my Nancy Drew book. I should actually finish that one tonight. And I am still reading Deputy Defender. That's my plan for the next little while. I'm going to sit down and read a little bit of that. I'm enjoying it so far. A lot of intrigue. It's nice visiting with these characters again because I just read book number 2 last month, or back in August, and I am really enjoying it. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that is it. I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Friday. Today is October the 5th. And it is just after 10 p.m. at night. I just got home this afternoon. I've been out pretty much all day long. So as I mentioned yesterday, I took my car into the shop. Everything's okay with it. They just did the oil change and the tire rotation, so it cost me a lot less than I anticipated, which is always a big bonus. I had put money aside just in case that there was an issue, and luckily there was not. And then I went and, I dropped the car off, and then I went and had my test done that I talked about yesterday. And thankfully, it was not as I thought it was going to be. It was actually a slightly different test. It was still a stress test, but I didn't have to breathe into the tube and have my nose plugged. It was just, I had to have the Holter monitor on and a blood pressure cuff, and I just got to walk on the treadmill. And it sounds relatively easy, but it was not. The girl told me that someone with a quote-unquote normal heart, like somebody who's never had a heart issue like I have, can typically do 10 minutes on this test. And I thought, okay, my goal is 5. If I can do 5, I'll be pretty pleased with myself. I did 7.5 minutes, so I'm really, really pleased with that. I could walk for hours and hours. Like, I can, just out walking, I could walk. But when you're on an incline and you're slowly going up, like every 3 minutes, that incline would and not just a little bit, like it would go up, to the point, I think, you're almost like she called it a fast walk. Sorry, that was a jog. I guess that's the same thing though. But yeah, so I did, I thought I want to get to 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, I was doing pretty good. At 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can continue on. And then at 6 minutes, they raised it the next thing. And I said to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and get to 9. And I could actually see the time and how long I'd been doing it, which is, it's helpful and it's not, because it might have been better if I couldn't see it, because if you guys are ever doing any kind of exercise and you're watching that clock, it goes forever. It seems to go backwards. But anyway, then on the other hand, it's like, okay, another 30 seconds, and you can see that 30 seconds go past. You know what I mean? So I got to 7 minutes and I was ready to call it quits. And I'm like, okay, just another 30 more seconds, which felt like 3.5 hours, but I did it. And she said that when I was done, she was a little concerned because my heart rate was all over the place. You get your heart rate up when you exercise, but mine doesn't do that. Mine will go like 150 beats, 120 beats, 130 beats, 80 beats, 120 again. And it literally, as just that quickly, it will jump back and forth, back and forth. And, but the medication that I'm on is supposed to lower my heart rate. So it's kind of, counteracting it and stuff like that. But anyway, she said she was a little concerned, and she was actually considering admitting me into emergency just because of what it was doing, right? But within about 4 or 5 minutes of me just sitting and breathing and just relaxing, it came right back down to normal and just went back into normal sinus rhythm, as it's called. And everything was hunky-dory. So, she was really, really, she was happy about that. I said, that's me. That's what my heart does. It's weird. I've dealt with issues of arrhythmia. That's the one issue that I'm dealing with now as an adult with this condition. That, I've been hospitalized a couple times The last time when I had to have a procedure done to stop it, my heart rate was up to 200 beats per minute. And for no, like, I wasn't doing anything. Like, I wasn't, like, in a marathon. And it just wouldn't go back into normal, like, go back down after being in that fat burning or whatever rhythm it is. I was literally sleeping. And I woke up from a sleep with my heart pounding out of my chest. And it was like at 120, and then I kind of got panicky at the hospital, and it went even higher, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's a whole other story. That was years ago. But yeah, so that's why I'm on some of these antiarrhythmic medications. So my day was pretty good. And then I came home, and I was home by noon, which was really nice. And my mom was like, oh, I kind of wanted to go to bingo. And I'm like, well, you know what? My car didn't cost me nearly what I thought it was going to, so okay. So I met up with her, and we went to the 3 o'clock session, and then we decided to stay for the 7 o'clock. So I was at bingo from 3 in the afternoon until now. I won $80, so that's exciting. So that was kind of nice. Kind of paid my admission in, if you will. I broke even, if you will. So that wasn't too bad. But yeah, so that was that. I do have a package to open here. It is not the one that I said it was going to be from David's Tea. I got the notice from Purelator yesterday saying that I could go to the post office, or it's one of those places that does the UPS and the Purelator and the FedEx and all those things. There's mailboxes there and stuff. And it said that it would be delivered there anytime after noon, like after 12 noon today. And I went over about 1:30, and the Purelator guy hadn't been there yet. I'm like, what? So I was really bummed out about that. I'm like, because I told people I was going to show, I didn't tell the guy this, but I'm thinking it in my head. I'm like, I told the people that I was going to show them the tea stuff. So you guys are going to have to wait till next week to see the tea. But just in case you want to go ahead and have a look on David's Tea website yourself and check this thing out that I ordered, I will show it. Like, you guys will probably, next week's vlog, but I will record it tomorrow. We'll see it if you're interested in ordering it. It's a countdown calendar for Halloween. And it was $20, that Canadian. I don't know what price it is on the US website if you're in the States. But it's a calendar, and it looks like a book, and you can like open it up, and then inside it's just like an advent calendar, just like you get at Christmas time, but it's only for 10 days. So it would start on the 22nd. I mean, you could start it whenever you want. You could get it and open up the entire thing in one day. It's totally your prerogative. But it has 5 different teas in it, like they're Halloween type teas. And then it's also got 5 chocolates that are tea infused. So I'm very excited to try this out. Once I do get it, I am going to open it like a typical advent calendar, and I'll do that for you guys here. On the vlog, is every day I will open another one, and I will essentially taste test for you guys. And those of you who if you've gotten one already, or you think this sounds cool and you checked it out, and we can kind of like all share in the experience kind of idea. They also do an advent calendar every year at Christmas. It is 24 days of tea, and you get a little container full of tea every day. It's more expensive. I think it's closer to $50, but you're getting essentially, because for the tea that you get each day, it would make 2 servings, like 2 big cups of tea. So you're essentially getting, 48 cups of tea for $50. So that's not bad. I don't love all of them. So some of them, I have friends who I will give them to and stuff like that. But the majority of them I absolutely love. And every year they put a couple new ones in there. But it's just like an advent calendar that you would see anywhere else, where, you open each day and you get a tea. So if you're interested, it hasn't gone on sale yet. I will let you guys know when it does. It should be at the end of October. So yes, I'm super excited about that. So anyway, I apologize for just the chatting, but I think you guys don't mind it. So let me tell you about the books first, and then I will open the package that I have, because it's a book. And it is from, we don't need to show off my address, but it is from, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's from Harlequin. It's the book I ordered. It's the next book that I'm going to be reading for my Harlequin Anticipated Reads project, so that's exciting. So books today, reading. I did not get a lot of reading done, surprisingly. I've been out. Well, actually, no, I finished a book today. I did finish Mistletoe in Texas by Carrie Lindell, book number 5 in the Texas Rodeo series, I think it is. As I've been saying all week, because you guys have been following the saga of this book all week, I didn't love it. It would have been a really good story had the author had it been edited substantially. you could have cut 200 pages out of that book and it still would have been great. And I think if that had happened, I would have given it a higher star rating, but I'm only giving it 3 stars. Yeah, I like the story. It was great, but there was far too much filler that you did not need. Stuff that just did not advance the plot. I've talked about this already, so I'm not going to go into it again. But if you've been watching the whole vlog up until this point, you know my thoughts on this book. Was not overly impressed. I looked on Goodreads, and the first book in the series shows that it's 400 pages long. So it's still a relatively long book. I mean, I've always considered Summer at Willow Lake to be one of the longer, by Susan Wiggs, to be one of the longer contemporary romance novels that I've read, and that comes in at 400 pages. So, you know, it's not a factor of length. Length doesn't bother me. You know, I like reading big, chunky books. Outlander, Gone with the Wind. These are fantastic books, and they're long, and they're involved, and they're great stories. The problem is, when you're just putting filler in, that's when I have a problem. So, yeah, so that was my whole final thoughts on that book. Because I did yesterday finish my audiobook. I did start a new audiobook today. I did not get much reading done on it, maybe a half an hour. But I did start Heat Exchange by Shannon Stacy. And what was funny is I started listening to it in the car because I picked up my car from the shop, like after I was done my appointment. And then I was driving home to take my husband to work. And I thought, okay, I've got about 20 minutes in the car. Let's kick on the audiobook for a bit. And I'm listening to the narrator, and it's Tatiana. I can't remember her last name, but I'm like, my God, she sounds like Tanya Eby. And it's bothering me. I'm like, they are so similar. I'm like, I wonder if it's the same narrator. So as soon as I got home, I Googled it, and yes, it is. It is Tanya Eby, but she does this other name. She narrates under a different name, almost like a pen name, when she does more erotic stories. So you know this one is definitely going to be hot and spicy. So this one's really cute. The whole premise of this story is about our main character, Lydia. And she works in, she's like when the book opened, she's working as a waitress in Concord, New Hampshire. And her family owns and runs a bar in Boston. And she had been married to a firefighter, and because of situation, I don't want to give away too much of the plot. You find all this out at the very beginning, though. Her and her husband are divorced, and at the very beginning of the book, her sister calls her, and her sister's married also to a firefighter. Her father was a firefighter before he bought the bar. You know, she comes from that kind of a family, right? And her younger brother is a firefighter with the same company that her father was with. So anyway, her sister calls her and is like, she essentially has kicked her husband out because of communication issues and things like that. So she's kind of separated at the moment. And she works at the bar, but because her soon-to-be ex-husband frequents the bar, she doesn't want to be there. So she begs her sister to please come home so that she can help with the running of the bar, because their father's rule, quote unquote, is that a Kincaid, because it's Kincaid's pub or bar or whatever it's called, a Kincaid always has to be manning the bar. And the dad's getting too old to do it on his own, and the sister, you know, so anyway, that's why she's come home. And of course, you know, one of the very first people that she runs into when she arrives back home is her younger brother's best friend, Adrian, who is my assumption, the gentleman on the cover of this book, or that character, I should say. So of course it's going to be a romance between the two of them, and they've known each other since they were kids, because her younger brother Scott has been best friends with Adrian since they were little. But Lydia is actually a few years older, because they talk about, not from when they were little kids, because they met, I think, when he was 17. So he was 17 and she was 21. So that's like, what, a 4-year age difference? It doesn't make that much of a difference when you're in your 30s, but when you're a teen and in your 20s, it makes a big difference. So this is going to be a really, really good one. This is a reread for me, but it's been a number of years since I've read it, and I've kind of forgotten some of the stories, so I'm very, very excited about it. And I'm still reading my Nancy Drew book. I plan on finishing that tonight. Secrets at Shadow Ranch, I think it's called. And for my print book, oops, sorry for jiggling the camera, guys. I did not get any of this read today, unfortunately. I did actually take it to the hospital with me to read while I was waiting for my appointment. But I got chatting with some other people in the waiting room. So, you know, I always like chatting with other people in the waiting room. I'm nosy like that, and I like to hear other people's stories. So yeah, so that's why I did not get a lot of this read. But I'm still off for the next 3 days, so I should definitely be able to catch up on it. You know, I'm just removing my page marker so I know how much I need to read too. But yeah, so far I am enjoying this. I've got no other thoughts on it from yesterday because I haven't touched it today. So let's get into the package and then I will let you guys go. And this will be the last clip for this vlog. Until next week. Do I need to? Yes, I do need to get rid of some of this packing tape. I know what it is, so I mean, it's exciting. And I told you guys what book it was, I think. Was it at the beginning of this vlog? But I decided, okay, so I was going to go to Walmart. Yes, it was last Saturday. So it would have been the start of this vlog. I was going to go to Walmart and buy this, but they didn't have it. And I came home and I was looking on harlequin.com and I realized I have a ton of points. And it's 5,000 Harlequin reward points to get an ebook. Or this is not an ebook, a print book. And it includes shipping. So like an ebook is 2,000 points. A print book is 5,000 points because they do pay to have it shipped. So you don't have to pay for shipping. So that is fantastic. So, oh, it just seems like such a big box for such a little book. You know what I mean? Sorry about that, guys. It is now obviously 10:15 because my phone, I have an app to remind me to take my medication. And it makes my phone go off when it's time for me to take my meds. And it shut everything off. So I have no idea where I was. So I'm just going to, when I edit it, it'll be a lot cleaner. But anyway, the book that I got was Cinderella's New York Christmas by Scarlett Wilson. This will be read this month. It's not going to be read next week. Like, it's not going to be read next after Deputy Defender. I've got something else I want to read, but it will be read before the end of the month. That is my goal. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I love the cover. It's a Christmas story. And it is large print. It's all that was available. I don't know whether Harlequin is just now only making these as large print books, which is absolutely fine by me. That doesn't bother me in the least. Like, it doesn't say, okay, it says on the back that it's large print, but, you know, it doesn't really say, but it's a nice floppy mass market paperback. Like, you don't see that very often. Like, this one is not so, well, maybe it's a little floppy, but nowhere near as floppy as this one. Not that it matters. But yeah, so that is the mail haul for today. But anyway, guys, that is it for this vlog. I know I have no idea how long this is. I'm going to not complain about it. I'm not going to, you know, apologize for it because you guys really seem to like it. And yeah, but I'm not purposely going out of my way to make them long. I do promise that. But yeah, so also before this clip, I did get a few seconds of video of driving downtown. My dad went a different way than I had originally gone. So I didn't go through the downtown core, but we saw it from a bit further north. So I think I got some images of the CN Tower and stuff. So I will insert those. Actually, I'll insert those after this. So you guys can just stick around for a couple extra seconds and see that if you're interested. And anyway, guys, I will talk to you all in my next video. Video's coming up next week before I forget. I have my anticipated reads for November is coming up, as well as my month-end wrap-up for September. So all the books I read from September 16th to the 30th. So I'll be wrapping that up along with my stats, and that should be coming up on Tuesday, and then the anticipated reads video will be coming out on Thursday. So yeah, so anyway, guys, I will let you go, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care and happy reading, everybody. Bye.